25th Amendment can be invoked by the vice president with the agreement of a majority of the cabinet to remove a president. I first described the workings of the 25th Amendment on this program at the end of the first month of the Trump presidency, when it became apparent that the president's fitness for office was, to put it mildly, in doubt. And since then, the discussion has only grown and has now been joined by a group of psychiatrists and mental health professionals who have created a group called Duty to Warn. They insist that the president is unfit to serve and that their professional duty to warn outweighs their profession's traditional ban on diagnosing mental health conditions of any individual publicly. To be to the 25th Amendment what the NRA is to the Second Amendment. Joining us now is John Gartner. I wanted to hold up or just read this opening, the sort of the chapter title is right here of your entry in this new book, The Dangerous Case of Donald Trump. And you begin your section of the book by saying Donald Trump is A, bad, B, mad, and C, all of the above. And it turns out a close reading of your work indicates that it's C, all of the above.
Correct.
Expand on that.
Well, people have made it sound as if it's a forced choice, but actually the nature of the disorder he has, malignant narcissism, Eric Fromm called it the quintessence of evil. It's narcissism, but combined with paranoia and antisocial features, sadism, and paranoia. And so these are people who actually get pleasure from harming other people, who are detached from reality because they see themselves as being victims when they, in fact, are being aggressive. They see conspiracy theories everywhere, and they really have no conscience. So they are dangerous. And right now, I think we are facing the greatest psychiatric emergency in the history of America.
There's a report, as you speak, coming out on Politico tonight. It's just coming out in the last few minutes, saying, and the lead of it says, friends say President Donald Trump has grown frustrated that his greatness is not widely understood. What does that tell you?
Well, this is someone who really has grandiose delusions and persecutory delusions. So thinking that he knows more about everything than everyone, that he doesn't have to listen to anyone. And as a result, he's really dangerous, because this idea that, Mattis, Tillerson, are somehow going to restrain him is completely a fantasy. He will not be constrained by anyone. And in fact, when he reads in the paper that he's in an adult daycare center, he says, I'm going to show you, I'm going to do what I want. And that's why he says his attitude is the only one that matters when it comes to nuclear weapons, and why it's so important that we pass Ted Lieu's bill that says Congress must approve the use of nuclear weapons, because frankly, I think the odds of his not pushing the button are extremely low.
The 25th Amendment requires that a majority of the cabinet find that the president is unable to discharge the powers and duties of his office, and the amendment sets absolutely no standards for what that is. So it could be mental health, it could be anything else.
Well, this is why, actually, we are supporting Jamie Raskin's House Resolution 1987, which would establish a commission, a nonpartisan commission of doctors and psychiatrists who could objectively evaluate the president in the case of an emergency.
Psychologist John Gartner, thank you very much for joining us tonight. Really appreciate it.
Thanks for having me.